Hello everybody, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, I am Debbie and I just love to read and read so many books and I just don't get bored, and I don't know how I don't get bored of reading because I feel like I'm always reading something. And I've got another book. This one is very much in kind of the mystery kind of things and the murder mystery. Yeah, I kept guessing throughout this one. This one is The Last to Vanish by Miranda. There is your front cover. Let's just get straight in with the blurb, shall we? And then I'll go through my thoughts as I was reading this book. Will the dark secrets of a small mountain town finally be revealed? 10 years ago, Abigail Lovett fell into a job she loves, working at the Passage Inn, nestled in the resort town of Cutter's Pass, just off the Appalachian Trail. Now the string of unsolved disappearances that haunts the town is again thrust into the spotlight when Landon West, a journalist investigating the story, himself disappears. Abigail still feels like an outsider within the community she now calls home, and when Landon's brother shows up to look for him, she senses the town closing ranks. Then she finds incriminating evidence that may finally bring the truth to light, and discovers how little she knows about her co-workers, neighbours, and even those closest to her. This is in contemporary fiction, crime thriller and psychological fiction, target audience adult, and it's 230 pages. I felt like I read this quite quickly because I was really just wanting to know what was going on. It's all done through Abby's perspective, and as it says in the blurb, she's been there for about 10 years, but she still kind of feels like an outsider. She has her own secrets, and there's lots of references to the disappearances of before. So the first one was a group of 4 people that disappeared. That was the original one, and then they've got some girls that have disappeared, and then the most recent one, which was Landon West, and as it says, his brother turns up, and that's what kind of kicks everything off. Landon's brother goes into full investigating mode in trying to find out what happened to his brother, what happened to Landon. Was Landon about to break a story about what happened to the other people that kind of disappeared in this area? The thing is though, it's one of those things where you're just like, how much of this is all connected? Is there kind of like an accident in there, or is there become kind of knock-on effect? It is all very interesting to read about, like those kind of disappearances where you just don't know what's happened. And so it's just like, it's because it's a mountain town, and the Passage Inn where Abby works is about taking people on the trails and trying to keep everybody safe. And in regards to the people that go missing, there's always an excuse throughout the book, like saying, oh well, they shouldn't have been out this time anyway, we told them not to go, and lots of kind of pointing out the misbehaviour of the people involved. And so it does kind of slightly go down like the route of slight victim blaming in regards to the people that went missing, but at the same time you're just there thinking, yes, it's terrible that these people have gone missing and have possibly died on this mountain, but at the same time they were warned that maybe they were going out too late, or that maybe they should have had somebody with them. And obviously when there's things that you do learn about trails and about Abby and her history with the town and her friendships and the people that she doesn't have friendships with. It's hard to describe that bit. Yeah, it's all just so very interesting, especially seeing it from the point of view of Abby, who is considered the outsider, even though she's been there for 10 years. And so the people who she thinks she trusts, it's all kind of turned on its head, and so she realises that the people that she thought she could trust, the people who she thought she was friends with, have been keeping secrets from her. But then at the same time you also find that there's something that she's been hiding, and I was just there thinking, is it at some point are we going to find out that Abby is related to something that's happened in this town? And I'll admit I wasn't that far off the mark with that questioning and that theory when everything does come out and you find out about like Abby's history with the town and who she is and how all the other stories and possibly like connect and don't connect. It's just fascinating. I mean, I'm the kind of person who can do deep dives onto Wikipedia just looking at like real life cases, and it's not so much, I guess you kind of call it like a morbid curiosity, looking at like unsolved things. And I think obviously it's not just me, because there's like so much media out there in regards to like documentaries and podcasts of people looking at unsolved mysteries and how those kind of things can actually help into solving things. Like the amount of things that have been solved recently or in the last few years because of like one of those podcasts or somebody just looking into it and going, hang on a second, did anybody ever think about this? And it's just like, oh wait, maybe there is something new that we can go down now that we have like fresh eyes looking on it, or maybe there's some evidence there that somehow they just missed back in the day. So I go off on a tangent about real life stories, but I think because it's about people that going missing on like hikes and trails, it feels very real. I don't know if this was like inspired by anything. I've just noticed that on Goodreads, is that Goodreads or does that just Google? But people giving it like 1 and 2 stars. It's a shame really, because I thought it had an interesting premise, and also the fact that at the end of the book, even though there's some stuff that is solved, there is also other stuff where like you're not getting all the answers. And I feel like with a mystery like people going missing on a mountain, it's one of those things where you won't always get the answers, and like the people involved will only ever really know what's going on. And when it comes to this book, you find out that there's nobody really left who can actually say what actually happened on the mountain, especially in regards to the original 4 that went missing. And so when you find out about like the other people and whether or not that was connected to the original 4 or whether it was something different, I found it quite interesting and kind of fascinating. So I don't understand. Well, there's some people who are saying it took too long to get to the point and that it was a bit draggy-outy. I didn't feel that way about it. I can't see anything about it being inspired by anything in particular, but it did feel very real. Yeah, it looks like it's getting a bit of mixed reviews. Oh, there's like a spoiler discussion for the ending. It's always fascinating to see what other people think. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it as kind of like from the mystery point of view. And I think the point is that maybe the fact that it isn't all completely wrapped up and there are still some questions at the end, but I've read books like that before where it's not all completely solved and you will never know exactly what happened. And I kind of like the idea that it gets to stew in your brain, because I mean, I finished this a few days ago, but I've been working quite a lot, so I've had a few days, well almost a week actually, to kind of let it simmer and figure it all out. I think when I first finished it, I was like, oh. And now that I really think about the ending and the journey that I went on as I was reading it, I just thought that the ending makes sense. I can understand why people could be a bit disappointed by it, but it's like you have some of it solved, but really I think it's the main thing that when it comes to this book and you're looking at all these different people going missing and not really knowing, and you realise that the main trigger point makes it so that the rest of the book happens is Landon's brother turning up. Because if Landon's brother didn't turn up, it probably would have just gone down the thing of just like, oh well, just, you know, somebody else who's been irresponsible and has gone out onto the mountain when they shouldn't have done. But it is Landon's brother turning up that really puts a question mark over everything. I don't know if what I'm saying is making you want to read it, but I did enjoy it, and I did find myself really wondering what was happening, and just especially just in regards to our main character, seeing it from the outsider's point of view, who wasn't there for the original group going missing, and then finding out her story, how she ended up in the town, and the connection that she actually has to the town. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, when it comes out, like, who she is, because I did wonder if she's going to have a connection to, like, one of the cases, and as I said, I wasn't that far off with that theory. I didn't feel, like, disappointed by that, because I just thought, it's going to come out she's connected to somebody, just, I don't know who it's going to be. And so it was kind of a bit of a pat on the back moment when I was just like, Debs, you were on the money with that. But at the same time, there was still the air of mystery of just figuring out, like, what was going to happen. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. As somebody who likes a good murder mystery, I found this quite fascinating. And also the fact that it leans into kind of the realistic side of people that go missing, and the fact that, especially in regards to cases like people going missing, you won't always get the answers. So I found it quite satisfying. The ending, yeah. How much can I say without saying too much? But yeah, it's The Last to Vanish by Miranda. There you go, isn't that amazing? I don't know what happened to my light. It kind of turned itself off and then turned itself back on again, but I think it went onto a different light. I think the other one was a white light and this one's yellow, or maybe the other way around, I don't know. I feel incredibly pale right now, but to be fair, I am incredibly pale. So yeah, I enjoyed it. So other books that I've got on here at the moment, I've got the audiobook of The Secrets of Sunshine by Phaedra Patrick. I've got on reserved, I've got The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa and The Party House by Lynn Anderson. And then available to read at the moment for me is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I know Colleen Hoover kind of splits people a little bit. There are some people who think she's a bit of a psychopath, but she's writing what she knows. So there's people who love her, there's people who hate her, Marmite. I'm not going to say I love Colleen Hoover, I just think that she puts across very interesting stories that get you to think. And I don't mind a book that gets me to think, because it's just one of those things where I think that there's nothing wrong with a book that's outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, I'll say that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, my lovelies. Bye.